Yo, what up? My name is Don, and today we're finding out if my NOCO Genius 10 battery charger can revive my Optima Redtop car battery. Optima is a manufacturer of automotive and marine batteries, and over the years, they've traded ownership a handful of times. And because of that, they faced a lot of scrutiny as to the quality of their products being a top manufacturer, at least in the eyes of their customers. I bought my Red Top in the early 2010s, and it did last me a long time, about 7 years with no maintenance and not really caring for it like a good owner. But because they are expensive, over $350 in many cases here in Canada, I decided to try and save some money and revive mine with the NOCO Genius 10 lineup of battery chargers, which is known to do a good job at bringing old batteries back to life. So, with that being said, let's hop right in. Okay, so I have my NOCO Genius 10 and my Optima Red Top here on the table, and I'm going to be trying to bring my Red Top back to life. A little bit of a backstory on this battery. It is a 6+ year old battery. I'm not sure its exact date, but it is fairly old. And when I first measured its voltage a couple days ago, because it has been sitting for a while, it was measuring at 0.48 volts, I believe. I will put the image on screen if I still have it. I was running this battery already through a desulfation process using a MotoMaster Eliminator Workshop Series battery. It is a smart charger. It does have a desulfation mode in it, but I'm not sure it was doing the best job, and these NOCO chargers have been getting all the rave over the years for being awesome at reviving batteries, so I figured why not give it a shot. So I have my multimeter here on the table, and I'm going to be doing a reading on the battery right now. I think it's around 2.48 volts, but I want to show you guys on the multimeter, and then I'm going to be running it through I believe the force mode on the NOCO Genius 10 to put some life into the battery, and then we can get it into the revival process. I should say the repair mode. It's called the repair mode, so we'll see if it works. Let's get that voltage reading now. So here we're going to be taking a reading of the battery. You can see it there on the multimeter. It is draining. When I took it off the other charger, it was at 3.6. Let me just move this prong on it a little better. It was at 2.6, and now you can see it down below 2.2, like I said it was, 2.178, and we're holding there. But there is some, the battery does have a bit of drain. So, I mean, we'll see what's up with it. If it doesn't come back to life, I don't really expect it to. It would be an absolute miracle if it did. I'd be surprised, so we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to attach the clamps now. And we can get things going. Everything is hooked up now, positive to positive, negative to negative. And now I'm going to get the NOCO Genius 10 started up. And I believe you're going to see all the lights blink, and it's going to go into standby mode first. So as you can see right now, we have everything hooked up, but the NOCO is not doing anything. That's because it started up in standby mode, so the charger is not charging or providing any power to the battery. Energy save is activated during this mode, drawing microscopic power from the electrical outlet. And it says CAN bus is enabled in standby mode. When in standby, the orange standby LED will illuminate. So with the unit plugged in now, you can see there is an orange light illuminated. This is telling you that the unit is in standby mode, meaning the charger is not charging or providing any power to the battery. Energy save is activated during this mode, drawing microscopic power from the electrical outlet. CAN bus is enabled in standby mode, and of course, when in standby, there is an orange LED, as we see right above the mode button. So from here, we are going to try and put the unit into repair mode. To put the unit into repair mode from standby mode, we're going to hold the mode button for 3 seconds. Which is going to take you into the second bank. You can see that it has 6 volt illuminated, and you're going to press the mode button to cycle through until you get to 12 volt repair. 12 volt repair is now flashing red. The red flashing light will let you know that the repair mode is enabled. The manual does let you know that for optimal results, take the 12 volt battery through a full charge cycle, bringing the battery to a full charge before using the repair mode. It says the level of sulfation found in the battery will determine the voltage driven into the battery, in brackets up to 16.5 volts. 12 volt repair mode can take up to 4 hours to complete the process and will return to standby when completed.
So we're going to do just as the manual says, and instead of putting it into 12 volt repair mode right away, we're going to choose 12 volt AGM mode and see if we can get any charge into this battery. If it won't charge, then we can hold the mode button for 5 seconds to put it into force mode, and regardless, it'll put it into a manual charging mode where it will automatically start charging the battery regardless to try and get it up to a voltage where the 12 volt AGM charging mode can then take over. So we're just going to press the mode button to cycle through until we hit the 12 volt AGM mode. You can see now that the charger has detected the battery in 12 volt AGM mode, and the power level indicator has illuminated on and off to indicate that the battery is charging. So I'm going to leave this battery for a couple hours, come back and check it every now and then, make sure that it is not heating up too much. I'm actually going to attach the multimeter to it to see what the voltage says right now and as we check it periodically. And then once it is through a full charge, we are going to put the Noco Genius 10 into the 12 volt repair mode and see if we can bring this battery back to life. Okay, so I have the prongs of the multimeter attached, and you can see right now it is fluctuating. And I'm not sure if this is an accurate reading right now or what's going on. So I'm just going to take the prongs out and attach them to the top of the battery and see what's going on there. That is a little strange. But at the same time that it is strange, this would be what you would expect from the desulfication mode when it is supposed to be creating basically an electrical pulse of more and less voltage into the battery. So right now, I mean, it's scaling between about 20 volts and 4.8 is the lowest that I see. I'm not really sure what's going on. We're just going to take these out and attach them to the top here and see if we get the same results. Yeah, it's basically acting the same. So this is what I'm not seeing from other people's videos. The Noco right now, if I move my hand, the Noco is in 12 volt AGM mode. It is charging. You can see the charge light is swelling on and off. And you can see the voltage on the multimeter going from 20 down to 5 point something is the lowest that I see right now. 5.2, 5.7, I see a 5.2. Yeah, 5.2 is the lowest I see right now. Again, I'm not too sure why it's doing that. Let me take it off auto. Still doing the same thing. So maybe that is good behavior. Regardless, I wanted to get this on camera because most people cut away and don't show this. And I'm not sure why they don't show this. So if somebody who has the smarts can tell me what's going on here better than I can, that would be fantastic. We're going to wedge the prongs in there again because it's doing the same thing regardless if I manually hold them on there or not. And I'm going to come back every, let's say, half hour to check where the battery's at. This has been 10 minutes since I let the battery charger start charging, and you can see on the multimeter now the range of voltage that it's feeding to the battery is a little bit different. It's still going to 20 volts at max, but you can see the minimum is increasing. It's now staying within the 6 volt range. So something's happening. It's doing all sorts of awesome, wicked Noco genius magic in there. So we'll see what the voltage on the battery actually comes to after this first charge cycle. And then we still have to put it into the 12 volt repair mode and see if we can get any life out of this super old battery. But just a quick note, while the multimeter is tracking the voltage, that I'm not sure if it makes a difference, but if we switch over to the resistance, whether I've tracked it, the resistance with the clamps with the charger on it or not, it has always told me open loop. So, we can be pretty sure at this moment that there are some potentially dried up or dead cells or something. We don't have a closed circuit in there thus far, and I'm not sure if it makes a difference if the charger and clamps are connected to the battery. I don't think it should. I don't see why it should. But again, if there's any electronic-minded people that want to chime in there, that'd be great. Regardless, right now we are still on open loop, so that sucks. Back to the voltage really quick there. we're still consistent with getting 20 volts down to about 6.5. 6.59 is the lowest that I saw it go. So I'll keep updating you guys every now and then. So this is half an hour from the last time that we checked on the battery and the charger. You can see the multimeter is now varying between just below 20 volts and just above 6.5 volts. The lowest that I see it going is about 6.83 volts. So once again, the range of voltage that it's putting into the battery is varying. It is doing something. This is not the repair mode. This is the charge mode, but it is doing something. I still want to report very quickly that if we check the resistance, it is still reporting open loop, so not too sure about that, but I am going to check the resistance every single time that I come back and check the battery, just to see, for my own curiosity, if anything changes there. So we'll switch it back to the voltage, and we will let this thing carry on. So far, so good. The battery is not producing any heat either, which is another good thing, obviously. Yeah, the battery feels all cool to the touch, so far so good. So now we're at the next half-hour increment, and you can look at the multimeter. We're still getting at just below 20 volts, but now the minimum has raised up to an average of around 7 volts. On the Naco Genius 10, we still have the 12-volt AGM indicator lit up, of course, and we still have only one only one of the 4 power bar indicators lighting up. So still, I'm not too sure if we're actually going to get anywhere with this battery, but hopefully this charging cycle does finish so we can put it into the 12-volt repair mode and see if we get anywhere with this battery. So we're back at the battery now at approximately the next hour interval. You can see the multimeter is still doing the same thing, about 7 volts now to 19.5 volts. So we're just going to keep tracking things and check on it in another hour again. The battery is all fine, no temperature increase, everything's still cool as a cucumber, so we'll check on it in a bit. Okay, so here we are once again, about an hour since the last time we checked in. The voltage on the multimeter now is once again just about 19.5 and about 7.2 on the low end right now. So you can see the minimum voltage is raising a little bit higher every time we come back. So I'm just going to leave this for a couple hours and come back in a bit and check it. On the Noco itself, we're still only showing the 1 power bar indicator. So the battery hasn't raised above 25% according to the charger. But once this charging cycle does finish, we're going to put it into 12 volt repair mode, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're back here today, and the Noco Genius 10 does have a battery with a little X in the corner illuminated, as you can see right there. The battery itself, I took a measurement last night before I went to sleep, and it was sitting at about 5.3 volts. This morning, the battery has drained down to 4.4 volts. Still have the clamps connected to the terminals, of course. Now, this means, this light that's illuminated on the Noco means that there's a possible battery short, or the battery will not hold a charge. At this point, because we have tried to put it through a full charge cycle, I'm now going to switch it into the 12-volt repair mode to see if we can, bring this battery back to life at all. At the moment, we've got some juice into the battery. As you can see on the multimeter right now, we're measuring 4.4 volts. So I'm not too confident that we're going to get any life out of this battery, but we'll see what happens. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the Noco Genius into 12-volt repair mode by holding the mode button for 3 seconds to access the second bank of controls. And now I'm going to single press the mode button until I get over into 12-volt repair mode. It is now illuminated and flashing red, and that means that repair mode is engaged. So you can see on the multimeter now, it has started sending pulses. Let me just change the range so it's not on auto. There we go. It has started sending pulses of electricity into, I should say voltage, into the battery. It's going from 20.47 volts down to the lowest I see is 4.7 4.78. So this is the exact same thing that it was doing yesterday when it was trying to charge the battery. And we're going to let this run its entire cycle. It does say it can take up to 4 hours, but I'm going to let it run for as long as it needs to run, and we'll check on it in a bit. Okay, so this is another update. I let the Noco Genius run another repair cycle overnight. You can see on the multimeter right now, the voltage is fluctuating between about 7.3 and 9.9. Of course, the clamps are still connected to the terminals, so I'm going to take the clamps off and then hold the multimeter to the battery and see what voltage reading we get. And then I'm going to put the Noco Genius 10 into a regular 12 volt AGM charge cycle and see what voltage we can get this battery to. Okay, so it looks like we're reading 5.37, 5.36, 5.35. We're not holding. We're definitely draining. 5.3, we can say 5.3 is where the battery's at right now. 5.2, never mind. So you can see there is a constant drain on the battery. I'm not sure what that is indicative of, but we are going to try and put this battery into a regular charge cycle and see what happens. Okay, so I've got everything hooked back up like normal, and I'm going to put the Noco Genius 10 back into a charge cycle. Here we're going to press the mode button to get over to the 12 volt AGM mode. And this is going to start working automatically. You're going to see the the multimeter now fluctuate a little bit differently, going from a range of about 5.4 volts, I think is the lowest I saw, all the way up to 20.46 volts is the highest I see there. So I'm not too sure what's happening there, but on the Genius 10, we can see the first power indicator bar is now flashing on and off. So we know it's working. So I'm going to leave this for probably a full 24 hours or as long as the Noco Genius runs until it goes to maintenance mode, until we're successful, or until it lights up the battery is no good light. So we will see what happens. Just a quick note that so far the recovery process for this battery has been letting the Noco Genius take it through a full 12 volt charging cycle like it recommends in the manual before I started the 12 volt repair mode. I let the 12 volt repair mode run twice over last night and the day before, and now I am back into a 12 volt AGM charge cycle to try and get some juice into this battery. You can see the multimeter there right now is fluctuating between 6.65 volts at the lowest is what I see, and about 20.25 volts at the highest, 20.26 actually. So I'm gonna let this run for as long as it needs to until it goes into a full 4 bars. The end bar, the big square bar at the end there on the Noco Genius will be green, will be flashing green, and it will indicate that the battery is fully charged and being maintained by the Noco, or it will light up red with this battery symbol with the red X in the corner, indicating that the battery may have a short inside it or a bad cell or something like that, and it definitely is not coming back to life. So we'll see what happens. I'll catch you guys on the other side.
Okay, so the final verdict on the battery is that even though we got it to go through a couple of repair cycles and a couple of charge cycles, the highest that we got the voltage to read out on the battery was about 5.5 volts after the second full charge cycle. And as I measured it, every hour that passed by after that, the voltage continued to drain to 4.7 volts, 4.3 volts, 3.9 volts, all the way down to 1 point, whatever it says now. So I can confirm that there is definitely, most likely a bad cell in the battery. The Redtops are sealed AGM batteries. You cannot take them apart and do any repairing. And even if you could, there is a video on YouTube of somebody cutting one apart. Because of their spiral cell technology, you could never hope to do any repairing of a battery. It's just not a thing, right? So this is kind of a lesson out there to everybody. Even though I tried to revive my battery, and I'm happy that I did, you definitely want to be sure to maintain your batteries. I don't think this would have happened, and I would have developed a bad cell in the battery if I would have just had the battery on some sort of trickle charger and or battery maintainer, which is something that the Noco Genius line of battery chargers is fantastic at. You can definitely leave the battery charger connected and it won't overcharge your battery. You don't have to worry about any sort of electrical malfunction. It has all sorts of overvoltage protection and in short circuit protection, all sorts of things. It's a very fantastic unit and it's just wonderful at what it does. So I do not regret buying the Noco Genius 10 for this reason. I still have another Optima Red Top to try out that's about the same age old. Um, but like I said, get yourself a good maintainer. Go and get yourself a Noco Genius battery charger, whether you get the smaller one, the Genius 5, the Genius 2 or 1, or some of the bigger ones, or even their Boost lineup. I don't. This is not a sponsored thing. I don't work for them. I just really do think that the units at their cost are absolutely fantastic at what they do. And so even though I didn't have success with this one battery, I'm not gonna take that as total judgment over the Noco lineup or even the one that I bought. Hopefully this video helped you. Hopefully you took some information and some value from it. If you did like the video, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, if you want more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.